All right, Allison. I read a unbelievable, unbelievable thing today. An article talking all about why. By the way, the Brenda Lee song is charting right now. It's top of the charts right now.
The what?
Being
What
written
song?
up that our daughter has told us was done when she was 13. Incredible, incredible. The one where she says, later,
Oh,
what?
oh, Brenda Lee. I thought you said Brenda Lee song, like as in
No,
a
Brenda Lee.
brindle animal.
The one where she bakes some fucking pie, Alice. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, it talks about the Mariah Carey song and why we love it so much. It goes into the history of the song, the writing, and this and that, and the whole history of Mariah's like record company, and this and that. And they never mention the reason why it's famous. Alice, why is that song famous?
The Love Actually movie?
Of course, that's why. That's what supercharged it and made it gold.
Of course.
Because it's a brilliant part of a brilliant movie. Maybe do we say that Love Actually is the best Christmas movie? Alice, do we dare say that?
There's gonna be some hate out there for that opinion. A lot
Okay.
of Love Actually is one of those things that some people just really hate, and I don't know why. Because Tom,
Yeah, you'd have to
Tom
be.
and I both love it. So if you hate Love Actually, you're wrong. And there you go.
Yeah, it's a wonderful movie. It is schlocky, schmaltzy, and all the other stuff, and ridiculously British humory. But it's a great, great, fun, zero stress watch.
Mm-hmm.
Alice, guess what? I
What?
have good news for you.
What?
We are, while we're being processed for our jobs at the Daily Caller. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, the Daily Wire. I
Yeah.
have better news for you.
Okay.
We are actually not going to be, as it turns out, working for the Daily Wire. We have just been poached.
Uh
That's right. You know who's poached us?
oh. The Tucker Carlson Network.
TCN, Tucker Carlson
Hey, it's
Network.
Tucker Carlson. Something big is coming. You can probably feel it. Everybody can feel it. The next 12 months is going to be a wild time, probably like nothing any of us has ever seen. An economic meltdown, an unresolvable presidential race, unprecedented global migration, entire populations moving from continent to continent, metastasizing foreign wars, chaos. Suddenly, everything seems at stake, control of the world and of your soul. How are you going to respond to all of this? The first step is knowing what's actually happening. That's not easy. Who's an ally? Who's an enemy? You can't always tell. What's true and what's a lie? Sometimes it's hard to know. There's so much deception. Big media companies won't help. Their job is to manipulate you. The government? Please. When was the last time you believed a word they said? Probably before COVID. We've been thinking a lot about all of this for the past 8 months. We've traveled to various countries around the world to see what America looks like from far away. Sometimes distance gives you perspective. We've decided that we need something new, something relentlessly honest that the corporate gatekeepers can't touch. So we built a company called Tucker Carlson Network. We'll be rolling it out starting now. You may have already seen some of our content on X. Expect a lot more of that. Interviews, documentaries, analysis, facts, and honesty every day. We've got a lot of good people working on this, and we think it's going to make a difference. You can head to tuckercarlson.com to learn more. We hope you will. Thanks.
Thank you, boss. Indeed. Oh, it's got a little jingle. Very nice.
Nice.
So yeah, Alice, let's get the let's send out our stuff. Let's send out the kit
Of course.
that has dazzled so many others in the past. And,
So, is there so far any other host on the Tucker Carlson Network other than Tucker Carlson?
I don't know of one if there is. I just learned of the network just moments ago, as a matter of fact.
Right. So far, the website, if you go to tuckercarlson.com, lists the Tucker Carlson Encounter, Tucker Carlson Uncensored, the Tucker Carlson Interview, TC Shorts, Ask Tucker, After Tucker Carlson Interview, Sworn Enemy Tour, and Tucker Carlson Films. So I would say right now, Tucker Carlson is the heavy, anyway, that they have on the network.
Well, until we're on board.
Of course.
In which case,
we're local to him, too. Well, almost local.
That's true.
One state away.
That's right. Right down the way from him. Hey, who's this girl? Okay, so yeah, we'll be joining the Tucker Carlson Network. There'll be press releases about that. Who's this chick, this actress who's with Bill Maher?
This is Bella Thorne. I believe she was at one point a Disney actress. She's part of the generation that happened after I knew who actors and actresses were. But yes.
Okay. Wow. This. Oh man, what a dumb.
There's a lot of trans. I always see that in the paper about somebody who has switched their sex, which I'm all. That's what makes you.
Yes.
That's that what blows your dress
Bad
up.
bitches all the way.
Who?
Yes. Bad bitches.
Fat bitches. Why
Bad bitches.
Oh, bad bitches.
Bad bitches. Be who you are. Yes. Claps.
Right.
Claps. Makes me happy.
I mean, I think there's some money to be made in some sort of exchange.
By the way, how gross is
with
she
everyone
with all her
switching,
claps?
Where like,
Make
you
her
know,
happy.
if you need a penis, take a penis. If you have a penis, give a penis. Like if people are becoming like men to women, they're going to cut off their penis. And then there are women transitioning who are going to need a penis. I feel like if there was some exchange, maybe Bitcoin could be involved. You could, no?
I just don't.
I mean, it's not that
joking.
funny a joke, to be honest.
No, it's not that funny joke. But the fact that she says, I just don't like joking. What a humorless pain in the ass.
You could, no?
I just don't like joking about.
Oh, Bella.
I know that you like to, but I don't think it's funny.
Oh, for
I don't
fuck's sake.
think it's funny.
What a shame.
You're so
That
right.
is where
I'm
you're
sorry.
you don't have to be sorry, but I'm not sorry
think it's
either.
funny.
And that is where your anxiety comes from. There is nothing wrong with joking. Nothing wrong about that.
He's absolutely right.
Not everybody is that sensitive. Not everybody needs to be that sensitive. Even the people who are doing that, I don't think would need to be offended by that. Everybody is so easily offended. You kids, you wake up offended. You should get off Twitter, get off social media, and maybe you wouldn't have this anxiety. This because I don't know if you're really offended or you're just worried that you're going to look offended.
No, I'm 100% offended. When I think about,
she's not offended at all.
No, she doesn't even know what the word means. But no, she sees an opportunity to say a thing that makes her feel warm to say some self-important thing. She's smoking his weed right now in his studio.
Right.
He made a joke that should be
and
actually.
I know I have vocal burn and I say a lot. Those are fair criticisms of me, but I don't think I do it as much as her.
No, and she's got obvious lazy brain vocal.
On someone the videos that I have seen that are so fucking bad, and
she's getting emotional.
When people have to worry about walking on the street, just being themselves, that's fucking anxiety. That's why I don't like to joke about it, because someone hears it and on a public platform is so bad, because you're kind of low key spreading this oh ha 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 ha, and it's it's not funny.
What a way to live. She's seen all sorts of videos. That's the extent of this. And she thinks that if she says
people who are sad,
she laughs at a joke about penises and the other thing, if she laughs at that joke, then violence could be visited upon somebody. If she smokes weed and talks, then listens to Bill Maher's joke.
Right. Or they might self-harm.
Right. It's shut up. God, it's so lazy. It's so lazy. But these people,
but you can tell by the
exchange. She is very typically upper middle class, white collar. She is obviously she's a celeb, women.
Well, right.
I'm making it personal to me. I want you to see just how much I care. I'm not going to even see. I'm offended. I'm not going to laugh at joke. With LGBTQIA plus ampersand people don't have humor. They don't have joke.
No, they can't joke about things. And you can tell by the exchange and by her tone that she's not sure why she's supposed to be offended. She doesn't actually have an argument here, and she doesn't actually have any particular reason why this joke is offensive. There's nothing well thought out. She just knows, she's downloaded that trans jokes aren't funny and she's not sure why, and that she's not allowed to laugh at that. And
but it's not that benign, Alice. It's also what it is a quiet condemnation of everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't laugh at that. I take it especially personal, and I show you guttural pain because I'm an ally. Those people over there, I don't know about that. I don't think so. But I'm really good.
Well, and it's fascinating because to Bill Maher, somebody who's talked to more people from more walks of life than she's probably ever spoken to in her life, in some depth, actually, and tries to find out what they really think, even when he disagrees with them. She tries to pull this card on him that she knows more about this issue than he. If you had seen the videos I've seen where people are so sad, he's heard of sad people, and he's met and talked to trans people, and I'm sure he knows some. And you're gonna lecture him. You haven't seen the videos I've seen. That's why you can still think trans.
Well,
jokes
tell me,
are funny.
Alice, how would she be if he did 10 minutes on Walmart shoppers?
Oh, that would be funny.
Absolutely. That's hilarious. Trash, all the white trash that's there. Oh my goodness. You see the people there? They look disgusting. They have like the iron lungs with them as they walk through. What
Just
trash?
not trans Walmart shoppers.
Right. No. Poor trash. It's so funny. That's good. That's fine. That's fine. Or if you do Donald Trump getting COVID, that's funny.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
funny. Republicans going to biking conventions and then getting COVID and dying, that is hilarious. That is then she finds her humor in the it doesn't extend to. I get the feeling Peter Thiel, if she knows who he is.
No way.
He's an LGBTQIA plus that you can laugh at. That's fine. That's fine. Even though he could get beat up too, obviously, or self-harm, but that's fine. And also, it's just so lazy and humorless that you can't say a joke or a thing because that person over there is so touchy about things that they'll just kill themselves.
And they're not even there. Just if he says it on a podcast and you laugh at it, then somebody somewhere might kill themselves.
Yes. It's freaking humorless. Oh, these people, all of them are
that's true of anything. Any joke could offend somebody.
Well, right.
So comedians, now you have to live in a world where nobody can ever make a joke and nobody can ever laugh.
Who is offended, which means her sensibilities are bruised, is hanging around with a comedian getting high and drunk in his unrated podcast. Is that the best idea? The best way to spend your time? But you know what? It joking
while you come to the wrong place.
Can we just sit here and vocal fry? But of course she loves going there because it's a target-rich environment. She has so many opportunities to be offended. So of course, no, seriously, it's just so freaking humorless. I think I have a.
How many people do you think there are?
You know the story of them calling me the MSP.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that all our listeners necessarily. I know we've said it on the podcast a while back, but
we went to camp. I think Camp Kirkland when I was in 6th grade or something in Morocco School in Winchester, Massachusetts, and for some reason I said something about boys being better at girls and something, and all the girls called me MSP for the whole rest of the camp for a week, which meant male chauvinist pig. So they just called me MSP for the whole week. And of course, it's chauvinist is not spelled with an S, but it doesn't matter. But to me, it was like, wow, this is really. To be honest, Alice, can I admit something here? At first, I didn't get what my friend caught on and said, that's hilarious. They're calling you that. And I was like, why? But he told me that it's like chauvinist is with the C. So they called me, these girls who were empowering women.
None of them noticed for a whole week.
None of them noticed for a whole week that they were calling me MSP. The S meant chauvinist. But anyway, I'm angry at her. I think I've got a problem with women. And I think I've got a problem with, especially like somebody like her, who just brings the room down. And it's a thing that chicks do. They really do. Remember, we used to know a girl who once.
I think it's expanding
had a Super Bowl party
in the millennial generation.
Oh, yeah. No, but I don't need them. I'll never need to hang out with some beta dude. I'll never have that. But there is something just so bitchy about, if you see the videos I saw. I don't know. I don't like women. I'm done. I don't. I mean, I think they're.
Well, you like women for some purposes.
Yeah, I like them because they're soft and beautiful, and their rooms are nice. and they generally smell good. I think that's it. That's I'm out. I'm out on women. And there's some brilliant there are some
You
brilliant
like
women.
Ann Coulter.
Oh,
She looks better than ever, by the way. I just saw a picture of her. I think I sent it to us. Where
She
she's
does.
standing by the motorcycle. She looks great. She must be like 60 and she looks awesome.
yeah, she grew up right around here where I am right now, as a matter of fact. So did Candace Owens' house. There's something.
Wow.
So did Laura Ingraham, as a matter of fact. Connecticut is a hotbed for. Oh, I mean, what do you want to know? Who is my friend, Trump's press secretary? Hope Hicks, right down the street.
Wow.
The psycho,
gorgeous conservative women live there.
well, and some gorgeous liberal women, progressive women live here too. I think the psycho from the Washington Post now, Taylor Lorenz, isn't she from here?
Oh, I don't know where she's from.
A lot of moneyed.
A lot of
There's a lot of trends.
Oh wow, thanks, Bill. But you know what? It's just joyless. That's why I've got a problem with women. I'm down on women now. Enough. Speaking of joyless, Alice, it brings me to this. I don't know if this is new, but it's newly posted. Cam Newton, who you might remember, actually now thinking about it, may not have been one of the Patriots' worst quarterbacks, but Cam Newton, former quarterback for the NFL, he was on this show, and he's so humorless.
I'm going through an issue right now with my children. All of them have education from private schools. And something alarming happened when my daughter came home. It was February, and she said, Dad, a white person is teaching us about Black history. And I was like, yo, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, we all are entitled to their own opinion.
Thank you, Cam.
And I'm like, if a white person is teaching about Black history.
My first thing I want to talk about is that why is her kid like trained to say, hey, Dad, a white person is teaching you about Black history? The whole thing about having an expertise in the field is not your lived experience. The whole thing is knowing the knowledge of the top of the subject, correct?
Right. Why would a Black person born right now necessarily know any more about Black history than a white person born right now?
No.
They're not. Neither one of them is born with the innate knowledge, unless you're pursuing the viewpoint that people are like born with ancestral knowledge, which I think, outside of identity politics, is not a generally accepted scientific or historical fact.
Can a Black person teach about
white culture?
Caucasian history. You see what I'm saying? European history. And I'm like,
yes, they can. Yes.
Right,
Black people can teach European history, as a matter of fact. And to suggest that a Black person can't teach an AP Euro class for some reason is an insane racist assertion.
Well, right. And here's the other thing about almost all of the subject of history that's being taught. Almost nobody now was around for any of it.
Right. So we're starting on a level playing field in terms of who can teach it.
Ooh, Alice, using level playing field with Cam Newton.
Wow.
Well
I
done.
didn't even intend that. Wow, look at that.
Well done.
you could, but it's going to be some things that's left out. You know what I'm saying? Slavery. How did Africans move to?
Yes, I've noticed that when white people teach Black history, they tend to just skip right over slavery. Nobody's.
Wait a second. Hold on. Watery? What was it? What did he just say? What was that he said?
I don't know.
Did he say slavery?
Oh.
We had slavery, not in this country.
No, you must have learned Black history from a white person, Tom.
I did. Tell. I had it. Yeah, my teacher was a white person. Yeah, all it was the Civil Rights Bill. Every Black person was spawned in 1964 in the Civil Rights Bill. Everybody's been free and it's been perfect. I don't see the problem.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Because when I was growing up, private school, all that, I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't have a lot of Black teachers. Mm-hmm. So now that I'm saying, your kids are probably going to school with teachers who they're not letting Black teachers.
Did you have Black history in high school?
No, I don't think I had that.
That's the problem.
But that's the problem.
Oh,
this is a convention of three dumbasses.
I mean, it's so insane. It's so insane because I forget where it was. Where was the story recently where they started to do classes separated by race so that the Black kids could have a safe space to learn? And I assume it's taught by a Black teacher and whatever.
I hope
They're
so.
reinventing segregation from scratch.
Yes.
Soon they're going to demand that Black kids only go to schools that have Black teachers and demand that it be separated. It's so bizarre to me that wokeness has now like fully circled around. I mean, I know that's always been the joke that the woke people and the neo-Nazis agree on some level, but they're actually doing it. They're like immune to the joke and they just keep going.
Totally.
You know what would be great? Would be if black kids had schools that are only black people in them. Like, wait, what? Didn't we just have, I mean, do they remember busing? That happened, right? That's not in my imagination. Kamala Harris was all thrilled because she was on the busing buses, right?
That's right. Freedom.
Yeah, that little girl was me, right? That wasn't that long ago. That was just 4 years ago that little girl was me and busing was great. Now we're anti-sending black kids to schools with white people?
Yeah, well,
I mean, I missed a step here somewhere, I think.
But it's also interesting. It's like busing was one of the few things Biden was right on. Busing was terrible. It was terrible experiment. It was destroyed neighborhoods. It caused more divisions. It was like, I think we look back now and we say, yeah, we get the intention, but once again, like other most progressive projects, it was disastrous.
Well, I think there's a difference, right? Because what happened originally, of course, was the Brown v. Board, where they said separate but equal wasn't acceptable, and they said that she could go to the school that was across the street from her, right? That was an all-white school. But in Boston, for example, when they had the busing in Boston, the schools weren't actually technically segregated. They were neighborhood schools, right?
Right.
It just so happened that the neighborhoods in Boston tended to be fairly segregated.
Right.
And they took people across town and sent them to different schools across the town. It wasn't like I want to go to this school and I'm not allowed to because it's an all-white school, which I think everyone agrees is an unacceptable way to run your school system in 2023, right? Like we're all on board with that. If you want to go to a school, you can't be not allowed to go to the school because you're black. That's not okay. But to demand that kids go to a different school that their parents don't want to send them to because they're a certain race and you're trying to create some kind of equity, which is what the busing was in Boston, that's also destructive. And, but whatever percentage of people you're trying to create, whether you're trying to create more integrated schools or whether you're trying to create more segregated schools, anytime you start forcing kids to go to a school their parents don't want them to go to in the name of some grand scheme of things, you're always going to get everybody a worse education because people aren't on board with your plan. You need to have people connected to the plan to educate their children. Otherwise, you end up with a mess. You can't have these social engineers in the government deciding that the way to solve race problems is through screwing around with your kids' education.
Well, right.
It's a source of so many problems.
Well, yes. And also, let me ask you back to the Cam Newton thing. Is he, as a man who was a millionaire by the time he was in his 20s, does he have any special insight into destitution, slavery, or I mean, this man lives a life now that's almost unparalleled.
Better than ours.
Yes, and also if somebody comes over right now from a doctor from Angola, he can teach Black history better than I can.
I suppose that's the contention, right?
Yeah, that's because of the pigment. It's like, these rules are. And by the way,
well, I suppose. Okay, so if your idea of Black history is what a lot of woke people think Black history is, which is white people have always been super mean to Black people, and any reason why anything bad ever happens to Black people is because the fault of white supremacy, and Black children need to be afraid when they get pulled over by the police, and then I mean, yeah, then I suppose anybody can teach that. It doesn't have to be somebody who has any knowledge on the subject, but I mean, if that's the contention, then maybe you do want that taught by a Black person if it's, that white people are the source of every evil in the world. Although there seem to be plenty of white people who ascribe to that view too. So they seem equally capable of
is the thought
that field.
Is that a white person is simply incapable of getting the source material that a Black person could on Black history? Or is a white person is he suggesting they're going to sell him an alternative history? The fake history, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. I think he's saying
that white Black people are so much more ethical.
Right. White people can't understand Black history, and so they're not going to teach it right. They're going to teach their white version of it.
So far, one out of the three college presidents has been whacked. I think the one from Harvard should be next. The gay. I mean, she's also
that the one who's a Black woman, though?
Yes.
That makes it tougher, I
Supreme
think.
Court's decision on college and university admissions will change how we pursue the educational benefits of diversity. But our commitment to that work remains steadfast. It's essential to who we are and the mission that we are here to advance. For nearly 9 years, Harvard vigorously defended our admissions process and our belief that we all benefit from learning, living, and working alongside people of different backgrounds and experiences. We will comply with the court's decision, but it does not change our values. We continue to believe deeply that a thriving, diverse intellectual community is essential to academic excellence and critical to shaping the next generation of leaders. Every day, this is borne out in Harvard classrooms, where our students have the chance to put their ideas into conversation with other points of view, experiences, and perspectives. To our current students, you make excellence possible.
Oh, shut up. She's another stupid person. And she actually said it there too. The only way you're going to understand different experiences, different ideas, is with diversity. Mm-hmm. It's not true. I'm all great with diversity. I don't care. I don't care. I like, I'm shallow. I like different kinds of food, and I like different kinds of music, and I think different kinds of women look good. But you do not need a living, breathing exhibit of every single lived experience to glean that there are other lived experiences.
I know, right?
It's really treating like classmates like zoo animals. It is.
Right. To turn to Black people and be like, we just can't understand how bad slavery was unless you weigh in and tell us because you're Black, to somebody who was born in like 2020.
Right. It's amazing. Back to Harvard. There's another Harvard student.
It's safety first. That's the approach taken by university administrators these days. On campuses across the country, safety first has been the rationale for silencing speech and firing professors. This practice has birthed a whole new moral framework, one that treats microaggressions as acts of violence.
It is your job to create a place of comfort and home for the students.
But when it comes to threats and calls for genocide against the Jews,
this is Barry Weiss's thing, talking about like you can't be fat phobic, you can't but it, of course, making the apt comparison or exposing the apt contradiction that everybody's feelings have to be coddled no matter what. You can't make jokes about LGBTQI sexual organs, but you can absolutely shut down Jewish students. It's amazing. This stuff is just, and I know that it's all in vogue now to talk about Fanon, and the Algerian uprising versus the French colonizers, and that's the whole model that got this thing going, etc. But it really is. It's just simply, it's so simple that's why so many stupid people can understand it. It's where it used to be, what did Rush call it? Wealth envy. Now it's just simply, it's just oppressor oppressed, and just pick one of the two, and that's all. The only thing you need in the world for you.
So, and I mean, MSN has this story on it. Female university presidents are under fire in the wake of Congress's college anti-Semitism hearings.
Fantastic.
See, they're the female university presidents. This is from Fortune, I think, originally. They're under fire. From that headline, you would think they were just under fire for being women. Last week, 3 university presidents appeared before Congress to testify about their institution's responses. Their answers seemed to satisfy no one. By Saturday, Penn President Liz McGill had resigned. etc., etc. She plans to remain in the role. The 3 women who testified before Congress were put in a difficult position. Yes, classifying calls for genocide of Jews as hate speech should have been a straightforward task, but the leaders advised by lawyers answered by the book with freedom of speech in mind, rather than with the human and emotional response. These exchanges came after a long, combative line of questioning by Stefanik, a Trump-aligned congresswoman who is hardly a moral authority on the issue of anti-Semitism. Last year, she ran ads that echoed the anti-Semitic Great Replacement theory. And university leaders are caught between a growing generation gap on the Middle East conflict, with undergraduate students holding more pro-Palestinian views compared to alumni and donors who tend to support Israel. Watching the exchanges, I was reminded of my conversation this fall at the Women Lead Festival in New York with Wellesley president Paula Johnson. She told me that civil discourse was one of the most pressing issues facing campuses today. We are seeing more and more movement against being open to diversity of opinion. And I'm not talking about hate speech, she said at the time. I'm talking about a diversity of opinion that is so essential to our excellence. It's happening outside the classroom, which is a tremendous learning ground for students, and inside the classroom. These centuries-old prestigious institutions have only just started putting women in leadership roles. At Harvard, Gay has been in the job for less than 6 months. Of course, these 3 leaders should be held accountable, but their actions should not disrupt academia's progress in appointing more diverse leaders. That would be a shame for students of all backgrounds. So we're back to square one. It doesn't matter if the Harvard president is, as Tommy New Hampshire points out in the chat, caught on plagiarism, if they can't denounce anti-Semitism clearly, if all 3 of them are a total disaster. It doesn't matter because they're women, and it's very important that we don't set back the progress that we've made in appointing women to academic leadership roles. So there we go.
Well, isn't it like, you're a woman, Alice?
Yes.
Isn't it like embarrassing that
who's the dude? We can't go to college unless women run the college.
Wakefield who wears a captain's hat? That like the fake woman Rachel, the captain's hat. Trans dude. Wakefield, Mass. You know anybody trans from Wakefield, Mass? The historic first. The guy who wears a uniform.
Rachel Levine?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay, sorry.
Like just think about.
I thought you meant like someone we knew from Wakefield.
No. So like they've got this, like, that's who the parade of women is. First of all, that's a fake one, but there's one of them. Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. We hired a woman, so the diversity even gets cut up, halved again into even fake ones. So a fake one gets to be the first one. Thankfully, now the glass ceiling's down. But also, like, all of these, like, Kamala Harris is the first female vice president, and she's historically stupid.
Yeah. Maybe we can do a little better with the female university presidents. And if we can't do better with the female university presidents, maybe that doesn't say about women what you wanted to say. Just saying.
Yes, I would. Yeah.
I mean, like.
But at the same point, it's the same point. Like, Ibram X. Kendi's a dummy. He's a dumb.
Right.
He doesn't say anything that means anything. He says this weird gibberish.
Right. So if you're going to elevate him, that actually doesn't make black people look good.
No.
Like, there are lots of really smart black people, FYI. I mean, Thomas Sowell is one. Clarence Thomas is one. There are ones like around us in our lives that we know who are smarter than Ibram X. Kendi. It's a disservice to everybody to elevate these crooks and grifters and morons. It really is.
All right, Alice. Is it time? Do we do it?
I think we should jump to the Chelsea Fire Wicked Hot Sauce. The Chelsea Fire Wicked Hotline chat brought to us by Chelsea Fire Wicked Hot Sauce.
Paige Spirniak is not as good looking as she was 1 year ago.
Correct.
Tom, come on.
True.
If Alice gave you a get out of jail free card, or if the world was going to be destroyed unless you and Paige Spirniak got together, I don't think that you would say no. Come on, Tom. She is beautiful. She's a 10 out of 10. No, come on.
She is. I mean, obviously, if I get the get out of jail free thing and it's a moral responsibility, obviously, let's say Alice doesn't exist. Obviously, I would obviously hook up with her please. I mean,
You would do her that favor.
I would do her that favor, absolutely. But no, she's not what she was last year. She's Alice gained weight too. You know, can't all be felt like me.
I just had a baby.
Well, I know, Alice. That's a more valid excuse than Paige. But she is.
You don't know what excuse she has or doesn't have. Leave her alone.
I understand, Alice. I'm glad she's eating. That's good. That's a good thing. That means that she's deriving pleasure from
I think
food.
she's lovely and looks great.
Okay, so do I. She just
what did Sally's kindergarten teacher tell her? Worry about yourself.
She did.
Yeah, that was what Sally's kindergarten teacher always told people when they would tell on each other. Worry about yourself.
Listen to this. That's right before Sally attended the Page School. You gonna take up golfing, Alice? You might be secretly good at it.
Maybe in my old age.
I don't have
time. I don't have time with all these kids and stuff right now. But if I had time, if I had leisure time, I could see myself getting into it possibly.
So I was wondering if I should call in and do Christmas songs. I don't know, try to get everybody in the Christmas spirit. Everything's
Mariah Carey.
Yeah, kind of depressing. With the economy and everything. Just go. Try to lift the spirits, the Christmas spirits. Frosty the Snowman, stuff like that. All right.
Your Indian accent went away when you sang, like the Beatles did. Happy birthday.
Can I tell people what I always thought that song was about?
Sure. Speaking of brilliant women.
I always thought as a kid that song was a cautionary tale about listening to traffic rules. Because he did not pause a moment when he heard him holler, stop. The traffic cop, right? He didn't wait when the traffic cop said stop, and then he went bumpity bump over the hills of snow. So I assumed he was struck by an oncoming vehicle.
Violation 8-268. What a nerd.
That's what I thought happened in this story.
You thought it was a tragic song? Oh, no. People die that way.
No, so listen, kids. When the traffic cop hollers stop...
You were the Bella Thorne of kindergartners. Not funny. People can get seriously hurt.
No, I did think it was funny.
People get seriously hurt.
I thought it was very funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was great that Frosty the Snowman got hit by a car.
Happy birthday. Can you come with me to the North Pole? Well, I don't think anybody might, as long as I'm back for dinner. Oh, really? Pedophile? Whatever. Frosty's a jerk. Sorry, no time for Frosty. FTS.
Oh, Tom, you just dropped an Easter egg in your most recent episode. So you were offered money to marry Supple?
No.
So where was Supple from? And give us a few more details here, Tom. This seems like it's a good story that you kind of glazed over and buried.
Yeah, well, no, Supple was... Do you know the story, Alice?
No.
So a friend of mine who worked at a hotel, he asked if I would marry his sister to make her legal. And I said, well, this guy's a great guy. I said, I've got a girlfriend. And so that was Supple, but it was my girlfriend. And I said, I don't think it's going to roll. I don't think the whole kind of thing kind of scared me anyway. It was kind of a little bigger than anything I'd ever been part of. But some unemployed loser who remains unemployed to this day, as a matter of fact, did it instead. And got the money. So, yeah, no, I've heard a few stories.
I've known Serbian people who've done that.
Yeah.
Like Serbian American people. But, yeah.
Who have done...
Who've married... Serbian American people who've, like, married people from Serbia so they could come here.
There's some pretty hot Serbian women. That's, yeah.
Well, they didn't, consummate the marriage. They just did it on paper.
Oh. Yeah.
To get people immigration status.
Yeah, it is funny. Yeah, I was at that point. One, I was a young Republican in my 20s, and two, so I couldn't. Yeah, two, I was not going to be going to the federal building and getting interrogated about this girl's. I'm sure she did Well, actually, she did. That's right.
But yeah, but the
great guy.
The girl I was close to, who I knew who did this, like they went to one of the meetings and she couldn't spell his last name, and like
Oof.
it was some of those Serbian last names can be tough, but still.
Oof.
Anyway, thank you all for listening. Appreciate if you have funny immigration fraud stories, feel free to call into the chat. That is the Chelsea Fire Wicked hotline chat. You can leave a message there, burnbarrelpodcast.com. You can also find links to all the places to listen, as well as.
By the way, we've had friends who have been, one person was like came illegally, and they've heard and they felt like timid to tell us, and like, I am a lawbreaker. I'm fine with anything. I wouldn't hold it against you as long as you're fun and a good person. Wherever it takes. If I was from another country and this country was here, I'd be trying to get in here too.
Wouldn't anybody? Everybody wants to be here.
It's a fairly good place.
I think so.
It's not diverse enough, as a matter of fact. I feel our diversity is our strength. Alice doesn't.
So true.
You got more to say, Alice. This thing doesn't ramp up for another.
It's hard. It's a little hard for me to hear, so I can't quite tell. But yeah, if you want to sign up to be on the live stream and the live chat, then you can do that at patreon.com/burnbarrel. But otherwise, of course, the show's always free wherever you listen to podcasts.
And if you're in Connecticut, come see me tomorrow, Avon, Connecticut.
C'est la vie.